Hi, I'm Tejaswini, Offering Manager for App Launch. I want to quickly walk you through how to use the App Launch service. First, let me give you a quick introduction of the service. Today, how do you roll out features to your mobile apps? You go through the DevOps process, release the app through the app stores, and the feature goes out to all users. This is mostly a linear process. What would you do if you find any issues? You release patches to fix the issues. What if you had an option to roll back the feature? A control switch on the server side to turn off the feature? In the first place, what if you had an option to first release the feature to a subset of audience before rolling it out to the entire user base? Collect some real time feedback and make broader decisions based on the feedback. App Launch helps you exactly with these set of requirements. It helps you control the reach and rollout of your features. Like you can accelerate the delivery of your features by launching the features to target set of audience first, defining the metrics, collecting the results, and based on the real-time feedback, make broader rollout decisions. Also, you can roll back features. You can perform A/B test, that is, test multiple variants of the features, and based on real-time feedback, make decisions with confidence. It also helps you customize your app behavior and user interface to selected users. Let's get started. App Launch is an experimental service. So when you go to Bluemix, if you go to the experimental services catalog, under the mobile category, you'll be able to find the service. Please note that this is an experimental service and not for production usage. So the service basically has the following. The first step would be you define a feature. The second step would be to define the audience and then finally create an engagement. Engagement is bringing everything together, that is the selected feature for the selected audience at the selected time. Okay, let's get started. Let's consider the following scenario. You have a popular app in the App Store which allows shoppers to buy merchandise online. You have a regular checkout, which is the user ID password based checkout. Since it's quite cumbersome, you want to introduce a Touch ID based checkout. You have your regular customers, you have your platinum customers, gold customers, bronze customers. Say you want to try out introducing the Touch ID based checkout with gold customers. Let's see how to get started with app launch for this scenario. So the first step is setting up your app. So you can download the SDK, right? You can download the SDK for iOS or Android apps here. I already have an Android app and the SDK downloaded in this app. So the next step is copy the app GUID, and in your initialization code you need to copy the app GUID here in the init app. Next, copy the client secret and replace the last parameter with the client secret. Now your initialization is done. So the next step would be to create the actual feature. So the app owner of this app will come and first create or define a new feature. Say the new feature here is Touch ID checkout. So this is going to be a button, so I'll add a button label. The metrics I want to capture is number of users who have actually checked out using the Touch ID based checkout. So So once the app owner comes and defines the feature here, it goes to the development phase, where the developer will implement these features, release the feature to the end user. So once the feature is released to the end user, then it's available for rollout. So before that, we need to make some changes in the application. So this is the feature and the properties. So we need to copy the feature code here, and in your client application, where you have the feature enabled, you need to copy the code here. And for each property of the feature, you need to copy this and add it to the client side code. Also, we need to copy the metrics. So now we are all set. We also have a sample app which you can download and go through it to understand the flow. This is basically the feature flags which we are setting now. So once it's ready to use, the developer would turn it on, which is put it in the ready state, so that it's now available for rolling out by app owner. So the next step is audience creation. The audience, first we create audience attribute. The audience attribute here is customer type. So the customers here are platinum, gold, silver, regular. Next step would be create the audience. Let's say we want to target this to gold Android users. So we'll select the customer type as gold and the platform as Android. So now we have our audience segment defined. Let's create a new engagement. Engagement is something which binds all of these together. When you create a new engagement, you define what is that, which feature you're trying to roll out, to whom you're trying to roll out, and when you're trying to roll out. So this rollout is Touch ID checkout. We're not doing an A/B testing here. If you're testing multiple variants of the app behavior or UI, you turn on the A/B testing mode. Since it's not an A/B test, I'll just keep it to none. So the feature which we defined is the Touch ID checkout. The button is Touch ID. So the audience which we defined is gold Android users. You can define further the reach of the audience under this subsegment, but for this test, I'll leave it to 100%. So you can also define the trigger, say the time when you want to roll out this feature. So now I defined all the required properties. Now it shows the engagements and it shows the feature here. So once the end users actually do a Touch ID based checkout, then you can see this graph updating in real time. Right now the total number of app users are 0.